So, hello, Rodrigo Rodriguez. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much for accepting me, and it's my honor to be here and to share all the information about the Shakuhachi.
Yes, it's my honor too, because also you are the first person with who I'm going to talk like this, and it's very interesting for me that you play Shakuhachi also for a very long time.
Yes.
Well, I don't want to start from the second part, but I was reading your biography, and I saw that you started like 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago.
Yeah, this is more than 10 years ago. Now I am 42 years old, and I start at the age of 23.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a long journey with the flute, with the Japanese flute. Previously, I was studying classical Western music.
Yes, and I was also reading that you have released many musical albums, and especially many of them in past year in 2000.
Yeah. Yes.
Can you tell very briefly, because later I want to go more in depth with this, but I want that you tell a little bit about your albums, just a little bit.
Yeah. My journey with the instrument started at the age of 23, and then my first record was released in 2006. Inner Thoughts was my first album with many kinds of instruments, usually from this different part of the world, not only Shakuhachi. Shakuhachi was like something additional to the repertoire. This was not a solo Shakuhachi album. It was like something more like a new age, down tempo music with vocals, with some singers in Spain. Since that until now, I am releasing usually every 2 years one album. Every 2 years one album. Sometimes every 1 year one album. And since last year came the COVID, and I was forced to be in home in my studio, so I released many records, many singles in other kinds of musical genre. So I have it's going to be maybe with albums and singles almost 30 records on the market right now.
So, because COVID, you started to work in many albums, because you had more time to be on phone.
Yeah, exactly. The COVID was something positive for me. I mean, my life didn't change a lot. Usually, for artists and for musicians, we are forced to be in home in our studios long time for practice and to study the music. So my life didn't change a lot. This was not drastic change for me. And anyway, so I couldn't get out. I couldn't travel. My concerts stopped. Cancel everything, so I was forced to be in the studio, and yes, I have a lot of time to create and to produce and to write music. So it was, for me, it was a positive thing.
That's good. That's very good.
It's crazy to say that, and maybe it's very controversial, but COVID didn't affect my job. Opposite.
Yeah. Yes, I can understand that. Well, I think it's not very controversial because I think many people also experienced this.
Exactly.
Of course, COVID was very bad in general, but I also have the feeling that for me it wasn't a bad thing at all. Also, so I cannot. And for people over the internet, I have also read that thanks to COVID they started working remotely, or they had more time to be at home. So it was very.
I saw some news about this, and the youth is affected with the quarantine, and they are spending a lot of time, and they don't know what to do, and many people they fall in depression. And I was thinking, luckily it's not my case. Almost, it's like I think depends of what you have inside your mind and how your condition is, you can take advantage of this situation. For me, I take advantage. Okay, so I have to be here 1 year lockdown. So let's go. It's my time. I think like this. So, but I have another friends that they have some psychological negativity and affect.
Yes, I think this lockdown was especially bad for people who is used to go out.
Exactly.
Do activities.
Not for us.
Yes, exactly.
Not for us. Not for us. I was talking with an Italianist like 2-3 months ago. He is a gypsy from Spain, and he told me the same thing. My life didn't change with the COVID because always I am practicing the guitar in my room. Lockdown is a lockdown forever, for musicians. Not only the COVID. Since I was 10 years old, I am locked down. So for me, it was like.
Yes, I completely understand you. Yeah. Okay, so after this, now I want that we go back in time to the ancient Japan. And can you tell me a bit how the Shakuhachi started?
Yes. So the Shakuhachi is an instrument that arrived from China in the 7th century. Around 7th century, they arrived from China. Like many things came from China and Japan. So originally, right, the religion and the arts. So from that times until the 16th century, Shakuhachi changed and developed. And from the 16th century, the instrument consolidated and was Japanese monks from Zen Buddhism. They pick up the instrument to use the instrument as a spiritual tool from the 16th century. These Japanese monks, the name is the Komuso monks. Nowadays they don't exist anymore. They left very precious tradition with the instrument and the art of the Shakuhachi.
Yeah, so for people who want a more historical context and just adding some little more information about this, as the 7th and 8th century around that in Japan and China. In Japan it was the Nara period, and in China it was the Tang Dynasty who was ruling. So in China during the Tang Dynasty there was a great flourishing of arts, and it was a time where the exportations to the near countries like Japan and I think also Korea and such was very important. Later in the 16th century in Japan, we are talking about the Edo period. So many years happened and a lot of history there. Was also reading that what you say about the monks using the Shakuhachi, and they used it for kind of ritual and protection.
Yeah, there is very few information about that. As a ritual, yes, of course, it's part of the ritual. But I think the main practice of the Swiss Zen, the glowing Zen, the practice of the glowing Zen, was like was a substitute to the Sazen that was sitting down and meditating, right? So they practice the flute as a substitute. So they believe that blowing the bamboo and playing that exotic group of notes, because in that time they didn't even consider music, what they play. So in that time it was like a group of notes to some determinate practice, to some specific practice. So the concept of music is very different than the Western world. In the music, many of the musics in the Western world was for the stage, was created for the entertainment, right? Many of these. We have something similarity like in the Gregorian music. So also this is very connected to God and religion, right? We can compare the Shakuhachi with the Gregorian music. They have the same function. This kind of music was to reach God or to be in contact with God. And the Shakuhachi, I think, is the same thing, the same subject. So the Shakuhachi in that times was only for religious matters, and there was no concerts, there was not any entertainment activity with the instrument. So that's why it's very unique and very exotic music.
Yes, so I have a question. You say that it was only for religious purposes, and this
Yes.
means that during that period of history, Shakuhachi was only played by monks?
Exactly. No one can play the flute, only them. It was exclusive instrument, sacred and exclusive for them. So the normal people, the citizens in Japan, they cannot touch, they cannot play the instrument.
And when they started to be able to play Shakuhachi, like normal people being able to play.
The sect, the Buddhist sect, the group, this Buddhist school died in the 18th century.
Mm-hmm.
Around the 18th century, the monks disappeared. They have some political problem with the main governments.
Yes.
And they little by little disappeared. So from that period, the Shakuhachi started to be transmitted by the quality of music.
Yes.
Considering the Shakuhachi music from that period. Before that was something mystical, something really sacred. So there is no concerts, there is not theaters for the Shakuhachi. It's a very different concept. So then from the 18th century until now, little by little the flute came and started to premiere in different genders, like garaku music, folk music, like chamber music, classical music in the beginning of 20th centuries. Many composers they used the Shakuhachi. Until today, you can find even in the cinema or anime movies.
Yes. Just
I want to show to the audience what the Shakuhachi is. So it's very simple instrument, just a piece of bamboo. There is no any technology, any mechanism in the instrument. It's just a cylindric instrument, and organic, of course, because it's made by bamboo. There is not any technology in this, nothing. Even there is not amsher, like many of the instruments, wind instruments, they have amsher to amsher the mouth and to blow and make pressure to produce the sound. This instrument doesn't have this, doesn't have anything. So this was the attractive thing for these Japanese monks to get the instrument and to make for them, because this instrument you need to use an extra physical condition, an extra mental condition to play. And also one of the reasons, because it's connected to the air, and all what is breathing is the symbol of our existence. Without breathing, we don't live, right? The first thing we do when we born as a baby before crying is inhale. The first thing we do when we come to this world is taking breath, and the last thing we do, right, in this world is the last breath, right? So it's for them, they believe that. They believe that it's such an important thing. Why not to mix with the sound and with this the bamboo? Why not to give protagonism in their practice? Because they think that they believe that breath is very important. And it is very important because you find across all Asia many ancient traditions like martial arts, yoga, they are connected with the breath.
Yes,
breathing is such an important thing.
And also the sound of the Shakuhachi sounds like the air. I'm not sure how to explain exactly, but if you compare the sound of the Shakuhachi with other kind of flutes, in Shakuhachi, the sound of the air can be
felt
much better. I'm not
Yes.
sure if I can explain good enough.
Exactly, the sound of the wind, the sound of the
Yes.
of the wind. Yes, yeah, it's very mystical. So I think one of the main reasons was this: why they choose a wind instrument more than percussion instrument? Why? One of the reasons is because the breathing. You know, breathing is a mechanical system in our body that never stops.
Yes.
We breathe all the time, right? And
Yeah.
depending how you breathe, your mood and your health will be changed. You know. So when we are when we have afraid, so we breathe more fast. When we are relaxed, we breathe more slow. So the breathing for them was very important. That's why they chose this pitch.
Yes. And other question is, the monks were the ones that built the instruments, right?
Sorry.
The Shakuhachi in the ancient times was built by the monks.
Yeah, I think in that time, yes. In that times there was not like now, like a Shakuhachi market and the luthiers and the Shakuhachi makers. In that times, the flutes even they was not tuned.
Yes.
To our 440 Hertz, international 440 Hertz was not tuned below that. So the things changed in the flute and the Shakuhachi once from the 18th century. In the 18th century, the Shakuhachi started to be transmitted as a musical art. So of course, many Shakuhachi makers appeared, the luthiers. They started to tune the instrument to play with another instruments. Because Shakuhachi nowadays you can find with koto and shamisen, and there is another traditional instrument from Japan. Of course, if you play with another instrument, you have to be in tune.
Yes.
So they require this.
So in the past, Shakuhachi was played alone, right? No other instruments accompanying it.
Alone, absolutely alone, and for this exclusive practice, and every single piece, honkyoku music. Honkyoku is the original music. It means the original songs, original pieces. So it was like 36, and every honkyoku has a spiritual revelation or spiritual meaning. And always I explain that. For example, these monks, they meditate with the instrument, but also have some kind of activities to offer to the neighborhood. For example, when someone died in the funeral, they went with the instrument and they pray, not play, pray. And wish pray. So for them was more like praying than playing for this death, to have a safe passage to the another world, right? So every single piece has some strong meaning in our existence, for the death, even for the delivery of the woman. We have a musical piece that is called San An, that when they went to migrate, they traveled with the Shakuhachi and they play in the streets, because there was like a begging with the instrument. So if they found a pregnant woman, they will ask permission for that. And if the pregnant woman accepts, they will play San An, and after they will ask some tip, something.
Yes, I was just going to ask you about that, about in where they played the Shakuhachi, and well, you already answered me, but if you want to add something else, like they play it in temples, but they also play it in certain ceremonies.
Yeah, because yes, in certain ceremonies, in another temples, or when a funeral, and usually in the Buddhist tradition, you have certain times of the month or certain times of the year that the monks need to go out from the temple to experience poverty, to experience austerity, right? Austeridad. So that practice they did with the flute. They play in the street and they beg. It was doing begging in the street, and they play for the people. So instead that when they get something, some cup of rice or some omiyage or some sweets or some food or whatever, if they play for the farmers, maybe they will give something. So if they play for the pregnant woman, like I explained before, the main reason was to with this piece is to wish a safe delivery to that baby.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful thing. It's such a beautiful and kind tradition, because there is many music like this. It's a spiritual revelation.
Yes, I agree. Another question I want to ask is, when in the Meiji period you started to normal people had access to this instrument, what were the first things that they started using it for?
The first transition in the 18th century, was in the Gagaku court,
okay.
in the music of the Gagaku. This is what we know. That we don't have so many information. It's not very accurate, but like scholars, they research about that. And the first transition was in the Gagaku. The Shakuhachi stayed not very long time in the Gagaku music, and then they kicked out the instrument from the Gagaku music, and the Shakuhachi started to be in another genres like folk. Of course, always preserve the main repertoire. Honkoku music is always, during this period also, some people they learn from the monks. The monks started to teach to the normal people, and the normal people also started to enjoy the flute in the more classical way. Honkoku.
So what normal people did was using the shakuhachi in other music styles.
Yeah, exactly. And only for the performing arts. It started to be a performing arts more than secular religious music.
Yeah, I see. Okay, but I think I don't have more question about the history. Do you have something else to say about the history of the shakuhachi?
Yeah, I have many things, but we don't have so many times. So I will point one part of the history, very interesting and quiet, like very. It's like a movie, right? Because the famous ninja from Japan, they was involved with that. In one part of the before that, the 18th century, the Komuso monks, they have trouble in their religious group, because in that times, before the 18th century, the time of the shogun, traveling in Japan was very strict. You cannot travel in Japan because it was a lot of civil wars and wars between clans. So people don't, they don't have confidence with the neighborhood, with people from another province. A lot of trouble, political trouble and war. So in that times, the shogun and the governments, they allow only few people to travel from place to place. Few people, like maybe the people who transport food, or and the military, of course, and so very very small people, group of people, they can travel, and you need a certificate for them also for traveling. It's same like in the COVID times, actually. very similar. So these Japanese monks, they have the right to travel because they have this practice to go out from the temple and to peregrine. Yeah. So they need to do this practice, because it's part of the religious life. So they give this and they travel. So the famous ninja, they use the identity of the composer as a one more corrupted tool to do their things, right? Because I will show you, the audience, they can see in the picture. There was two reasons very attractive for the ninja. One is how the composer they look, right?
Yeah.
They were like a basket in the head. This we call in Japan tengai. Is a straw from made by bamboo. Of course, this is I will finish. Yeah, this is for absence of ego.
Oh, yes, I understand.
Absence of ego, and also they wanted to preserve their anonymous feeling, you know. So this and the certificate for travel was the two things very attractive for the ninja. So they need many ninja when they need to do their jobs, corrupted jobs, to kill someone or to spy to someone. So they got the identity of these monks. They pretend to be these monks, right?
Yes.
So in that time was very dangerous. So maybe the composer you meet in the street was not a real composer, and he has some knife, right? And he will kill the person, you know. So it was very, very dangerous. So the government and the authorities in that time in Japan, they ban all, even the good monks and the bad monks, right?
Oh.
They ban. So was affected to also this in the Buddhist group. This is very interesting.
Yes, indeed, it's very interesting. Also, like very, very tricky by the ninjas. Just
they, as we know nowadays, they hide the knife here.
Yeah.
Here, they put a knife here. So if someone will walk and they pretend to play and they will kill. So they can hide. They can hide their identity. They can hide, or even they can use this as a tool because it's very strong.
Very amazing. So
it's like a movie.
Indeed. And when they banned both the monks and the ninjas and such, then what did the monks do when they banned it?
When I think the monks, you know, the Buddhist sect. I call it sect because it's the real meaning of the sect, but it's a group of religious group. Right? Little by little, they didn't have support from the authorities. Support, and too many troubles happened with the ninja and political troubles. As we know today, is like little by little they was going to extinction, right? And in that period of time also was a Japanese monk, Kinko Kurosawa, that he traveled. They assigned him the serious and important job to travel across Japan and to collect the best music from Shakuhachi and consolidate a standard repertoire. Because every temple have different pieces, you know, different sounds. So he was the one who did all this job, traveling across Japan, finding the best music and consolidate the repertoire that nowadays we study. Thanks to him, nowadays we study, and thanks to him, the Shakuhachi didn't extinct. Because he created also the writings. Because before, the Shakuhachi in the Edo period was transmitted orally. So nowadays we can read the Shakuhachi in this way, thanks to him. He started to write.
This is text or it is musical notation?
This is musical notation.
Wow, it's very interesting.
Yeah, we read the music in that way in Japan.
And how do you read that? It's the first time I see that.
Yeah, this is the title, the kanji, original from China. So this is a kanji coming from China, the influence of the kanjis, right?
Yes.
And this, I start from here, down, and from the right to the left. Like also the Muslims, they're writing from the right to left, I think. Up and down, right to left. And this is one phrase, this is another sentence, and there is many symbology, and they are using katakana alphabet for the music. This is not same alphabet. This is kanji alphabet, the Chinese character, and this is the katakana alphabet. In Japan, we have 3 alphabets: katakana and hiragana, and then the kanji original from China.
Very interesting. Thank you very much for showing.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so we conclude with the part of history, and now that you have introduced the Shakuhachi to the modern times, I want to continue asking how did you discover the Shakuhachi and how did you start playing?
I discovered the flute when I was almost a child. I remember my uncle, he always traveled to India because he likes all the spiritual activities in India, yoga, the ashrams. And so he was doing meditation, and he was studying Ayurveda and many things. So I was around from 10 to 12, I don't remember exactly, and he borrowed me a cassette. In that times, we don't have CD-ROM, CD and MP3, of course. And I listened some music for the meditation because he introduced to me the Taoism, the Buddhism. I started to read some books of Buddha, the life of Buddha, and he introduced me also the guitar. I started studying guitar things with him. And this was the first time I listened to the flute, but I didn't know what I was listening. Okay, I listened something that inspired me to get in this world of the mystery, Asian mystery, and all the philosophy, Asian philosophy. And I forgot that. I forgot that cassette. I forgot until in the late 20s. I listen again, and I connect. In that time, I fall in love with the song, and I connect to that time. So it was like a bridge from the 10 years old to the 21 or 20s, and it was like a bridge, jumping bridge. I said, my God, this I listened before. I listened before this music from where it comes from. So I just feel very attracted to it, and I decided to travel to Japan, like a crazy boy.
Yes. So
I didn't think well. Actually, I didn't think well because I have my job in Mallorca, Mallorca Island. At that time, I have my house, I have my car, I have all my life set up, and I like it so much the instrument I wanted to dedicate to this sound, so that I reject everything and I went to Japan. And I didn't know what is the conclusion of this. So because you study something, but after you don't know if you will become professional or you will succeed or you will at least to earn money to pay your bills, right?
Yes.
It was like kamikaze.
Indeed, but at least you did what you felt that was the best you could do. I think if traveling to Japan has made you feel happier in the long term, especially, I think it was worth it.
Yeah, it's worth it. And I learned many things in Japan, and also my attitude, the flute changed my attitude a lot. So the breathing, breathing constantly and dedicating the time to your own breath. And you of course, this also change your spirit and change your psychology and you change your attitude. So I changed a lot. Before the Shakuhachi and after Shakuhachi, I'm different person. I am different person. So many positive things until today. So I think I'm very proud that nowadays I can keep dedicating to this and I'm a professional.
And I was reading that in Japan you studied with a Shakuhachi master.
Two Shakuhachi masters, yes. The first. Yeah.
Can you tell a bit about that experience?
Well, the experience at the beginning was really was nice, but even the not nice things was nice.
Yes, I understand that.
Because I was so in love with the instrument, and I wanted so badly to become a professional, and to become a professional and to play the instrument, you have to understand the culture.
Yes.
I mean, it's very superficial if you go to Japan or if you want to play another instrument, any instrument from world music, and you go to the origin country, you study and you go back, right? So and you don't get involved with the culture, you don't get involved with the people, you don't try to understand their minds. Their minds. Why these people they do this? Why they live like this? Why they are so strict and they are so perfectionist in their life? Why? Everything has a reason. You know, humans we don't do things without reason. I think. So if you understand the social part of the nation that is linked to the art. The national character and the national attitude also is linked, and is linked to the art because it's the mirror of the people. So even the bad things, the bad experience or the shock experience in Japan, there was many shock experience because of course I am European, and European we have different kind of mind, right? We have different kind of life. Even that things I appreciate because they become more strong to myself, I became more disciplined, I became more tolerant because there is not one truth, there is not one truth, right? And this helped me also to understand the instrument because the instrument has this sound and it's very intimate instrument and sometimes it's very intimate instrument because the character of the Japanese artist, right? If you go to Africa, we find humans with different attitude, right? And their music is different, right?
Yes, of course.
It's connected absolutely. So if there is someone that you want to learn an instrument from another culture, listening us, I will always suggest, of course, go to the origin country, but also try to understand and try to get involved with the society. You know, understand the way they eat, the way they live, the way they work, the way they do the things. It's very important.
Yes.
Not only music itself.
That is really inspiring because you know that I play the air flute. It would be very interesting for me to do this, to travel to China and live there for a while to understand. And also, personally, I'm mostly self-taught, but as you shared these good memories about being with master and try to understand the instrument from the experience that you took, I think it could also be interesting for me, maybe.
Yeah, it is very interesting for that. So even the background of the culture shock, we Westerns, when we are in a country like Japan, you have a lot. I mean, there is two ways in Japan. Always, I was talking with another student because the first teacher, he has many international students, people from Canada, from the US, from Spain like me, or from Australia. So many people, they went to Japan for short time. Short time, you don't have time to get involved with the society, and everything is nice because once you live there, so you see the pros and the cons, right? And many people, there is two ways in Japan for the foreigners, for the gaikokujin, right? Or you like Japan or you hate Japan.
Yes.
Right? There is two ways. So many Western people, they end up hating Japan, and they go.
Yes, I know about this. And how many years have you been living in Japan?
Many, since 20s. I of course, at the beginning, I was going back and forth, but then I stayed there like 5, 6 to 7 years without going back.
Yes.
It's a lot of time. So even when I remember, this is an anecdote. When I came back to Spain from Japan, even my mother and my family, they didn't recognize me. So you changed a lot. Wow. You changed a lot. So I didn't notice this. But when I came back, they told me, "My God, your attitude is not Hispanic anymore, right?"
Yes.
I changed it. Even that I didn't feel. Yeah, but I think this is a good thing. Like this is the part of the process of studying an instrument from another culture. So it's the beauty.
Yes, it adds to your personality, and all the experience add new traits to your personality.
Yeah. The experience will give you a lot of how to say this, room in your spirit.
Yes.
For become better human, right? For become more evolved. I think becoming more better human is one of the things to be more tolerant. Yes. Especially in that days that we are divided. This is the Chinese, this is the Western, this is the Japanese, this is the Africans, this is this, this is that. We have the tendency to divide countries, to put borders in the countries. So music is opposite of that.
Yes.
It's opposite of that, and it's helping to somehow to destroy all these obstacles between humans. Because music is something universal, and you can play and you can rehearse with a Muslim or with indigenous people, and you will make music and you will understand each other, right? And you don't need even to talk the same language, right?
And following this, I want to ask, I have read that you have played Shakuhachi in different countries.
Yes.
So can you tell a bit about this experience? There was especially one country that was interesting. You played in Russia, right?
Russia, yes. Russia in 2012, I toured in Moscow, and the exterior ministry of culture, they invite me to go and perform and teach in the Tchaikovsky Conservatory.
Yes.
It's one of the more important conservatories in the world. It has a lot of history, and many great composers, they studied there, Tchaikovsky and many of them. Tchaikovsky was working there. So it's a very important place for music, and they have very interesting department. This World Music Center is a very big building, actually. It's an amazing building because this is like a campus. They have the main building, but they have another buildings around. And that building is only for world music.
Yes.
Only for world music, and they have the World Music Center, and every year they are inviting Persia music, China music, Japanese music at that time. So they invite me and I played and I teach them. It was an amazing experience, and I really respect the Russian culture, the high level of appreciation and high level of understanding music. They are really, really high.
Yes.
Really high. The people was making queues to the concerts. This conservatory is making concerts sometimes 3 in the same day. It's such a crazy thing. I didn't see this in another place.
And what other nice experience have you had in other countries? Is there something that you want to talk about?
I mean, this experience was very interesting for me. And also in Japan, I performed in the Imperial Hotel and for some events for the NHK, that is like a Radio Televisión España, so the Japanese version. And in 2008, I went to New York City.
Oh yes, I have heard about that.
I played in the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens, and was very nice. Also very very different than Russia, of course. But very nice, very nice. I think that these kind of cities, like I don't know, Berlin, Moscow, London, New York cities, right? The referent places for arts and music.
Yes.
For intellectual arts and music. Okay, I'm always talking about intellectual music, right?
Yes.
Non-intellectual music is everywhere, unfortunately.
Yes, I can understand that. About your experience in Japan, so you are a professional shakuhachi player. Let me think how to ask this. Do you have any experience? Have you had any experience as a foreigner in Japan being a shakuhachi master? Like, as you are not Japanese, have you had any kind of not exactly discrimination, but some kind of people seeing you weird because you are a foreigner?
Weird? No. I mean, I don't know what they think nowadays because I'm not in touch right now with another professionals. Right now, the only connection I have is my teacher, and with my teacher we have mutual respect, and we collaborate, and even we record the music together as a collaboration. When I was a student, I feel Japanese, they respect and they was admire people coming from very far countries to study their country things, right?
No.
So at the beginning, I mean, as a non-professional, I can tell you like I feel very positive things, right? They always, oh, Shakuhachi, wow, this instrument is very difficult, wow, foreigner playing Shakuhachi. So it was like an admiration. But I don't know nowadays. I don't know the professional what they think about it, right? I really don't know. Maybe they think bad, maybe they think well. I really don't know. So I must in touch.
I was just curious about that.
I mean, in any kind of profession, always there is a fight. Even the masters in Japan, it's like a love and hate relation.
Yes.
You know, I experienced that, so I'm sure they maybe they criticize me or they say, he's not Japanese, or I don't know, but I don't care.
Yes. It's good that you don't care.
Of course not.
As you were saying, if there is even tensions between masters that are Japanese, as Shakuhachi is a traditional Japanese instrument, maybe just because you are foreigner, then I thought that maybe there will be more tension, but it's nice that
maybe for sure. Maybe why not?
Yes, but it's good that you had good relation with your master. That
Of course.
overall people respect you and admire you for this journey from, as you say, from distant lands. You went to Japan to understand the culture, to learn about the culture, to learn the Shakuhachi.
Yeah, everything. Exactly, everything was a new thing for me. I remember the first time I put my feet on the ground in Japan. I took a train from the airport of Narita to the place of my teacher, and I remember it was a day of typhoon and very strong rain, and just was one train to take. And if I didn't lose this train, I was on the road, on the street. I went to sleep in the train station. So I took the train, and one old lady was near me, right? And she was eating something, smelled very, very fishy smell, very strong smell, fish. And she gave me that, and I ate. It was like onigiri, right? It's like a rice bowl with fish inside and nori seaweed, right? Onigiri, and of course it's the first time I ate onigiri, and inside that was like a caviar, some kind of caviar with a lot of spices, right?
Yeah.
And this was my first thing I ate in Japan. I remember, and was like explosion of sensation, new sensation. I said, "What is this?" So I will never forget that. And we started to talk, and after this lady is the owner of a temple in Chichibu, and we became friends, and Japanese people is very hospitality for the foreigners.
Yes.
Yeah. And the level of the education is very high in Japan.
Yes.
People is so educated, so polite. So somehow this is easy.
It is easy?
Easy way to get in touch with the culture. Because if you arrive to a place and they are not polite, they are not kind, they are not educated, they are rough, right? It's more difficult to penetrate the culture, right?
Yes.
I think for me it was quite easy because they are very educated and they are very polite.
Okay. Yes, I understand that.
I appreciate that about the Japanese.
When you left Japan, can you tell more about your story after you stopped living in Japan? How your journey?
I stopped to live in Japan. Yeah, I stopped to live in Japan, and then I come back in 2009 to Spain, and since that, always I miss Japan. I was not content in living in Spain again, but for some personal matters, I needed to return to my origin country, and always I miss Japan and Asia. Always, and always of course, since I went back to Spain, always every year I travel to Japan to visit my teacher, to study and to play concerts. But it was not enough because it's only 1 month per year. So always it's like nostalgic, and I feel something missing, right? Something missing always. But this something missing also helped me to keep playing the instrument.
Oh yes.
I got with more appreciation with flute because I missed this. I have nostalgia of Japan, so I create and I record music using this film.
Yes, that's very, very, very beautiful.
And nowadays I am living in South Asia. I am in the Philippines. We are very close to Japan.
Yes.
I am very comfortable living here. There is so many things quite similar to Japan because still we are in Asia, and Asia is very different than the Western world. But yeah, when this crazy COVID finishes, I will be back to Japan.
So your plan is to establish again in Japan for many years?
No establish. No, maybe in some years, maybe, probably. But right now, I am too close to Japan, so don't care. Anytime, once this COVID finished, I can travel anytime for low cost. So it's not like before I have to travel 24 hours. Now it's just a very short trip, and I do not miss it so much. I know it's here, it's very near. So once this finished, I will travel, I will keep my concerts and visit the teacher.
Very nice. So I don't have more questions to ask. I think we covered everything, but I don't know if I'm missing something. Is there something that you want to tell?
I think we have a very brief chat about the flute and about part of my life and about the history of the instruments. I hope the audience, they can enjoy also the music, and you can show them the music and they can enjoy and appreciate the instrument.
Yes. So what are your projects for the future? Do you plan to release more albums?
Yeah, I just released one solo album and one single. Only Shakuhachi, Blowing Stem, Shakuhachi Meditation Music, is now available in all major stores like iTunes, Deezer, Google Play, Amazon. And I released another single, Sashe Olwake. It's a song, folk music from the north of Japan. And I am, right now, I don't have concerts, so I have a lot of time to write music and record and produce my music. Of course, every year or every 6 months, something new.
Yes, I saw that, as I said before, in last year you released more than half of your list of albums. Like, it was very...
Because I think two things. I came back to live in Asia again. I think this helped me also. Very comfortable here. So, and also the COVID.
Yes.
I have the time, because time always, we have very misunderstanding about the concept of time. Time is creation.
Yes.
Time is art. Time is not money.
Yes, I agree with that. And
you can have all the money available in the world, but if you don't have time, how do you pay?
Yes, it's just like you can have all the money you can get, but if you don't have time even to spend that money, that money is kind of different.
Exactly, and we have the sentence, especially in Spain, right? El tiempo solo.
Yes.
There's a very ancient way of thinking, right? In Spain, I think maybe it comes from the time of the gold, when the people is searching for gold, and relating the time to the gold is relating to the time to the money. I think it's completely wrong for me.
Yes.
Completely wrong, and there is many ancient cultures like the Aztecs, the Mayans. They think that the time is not money, it's not gold. The time is just creation, movement, creation, art.
Yes, I always thought that in a job, what I will most value is not how much money I can get, but how much free time they can let me to have.
Yeah, because the free time is the time where you will live, really.
Yes.
Right? And you will do all your projects, or you will practice whatever you want to practice, and you will spend time. But without time, there is nothing.
And now that you mentioned the projects, I think the projects give you life. Like, when you, if you don't have time, for example, to create more music, you wouldn't be as happy as if you have time to create music.
Of course. So that's why I appreciate my work, and that's why I manage my work in some way that I need to. Of course, I need money for pay my bills and to make a living, and I have daughter and son.
Yeah.
But I organize to do my job, to earn money and to have free time.
Yes.
Also. Because even if my passion in music, of course I get crazy sometimes. You know, I cannot always make music all the time. So also I value about my job that I can manage my time.
Yes.
I can manage my time, and I wake up in the morning, and if I don't have any job to do, I go to the gym, I train, I go to run. So for me, it's a precious thing, very valuable, because many people, they have to wake up and they go to run to their jobs, right?
Yes.
Right. So I if I don't have anything to do, so I manage my time, this free time. So my work is allow this free time. So my work, I organize to allow I have my free time. So it's very, very important.
Yes, it's wonderful that you have the chance to be able to organize your free time.
Yeah, I have chance, but I work for that also, and I'm very disciplined. Nothing is coming by free from God, right?
Yeah.
From the sky. Everything you have to. I think everything you have to organize yourself, be disciplined, and of course, I didn't mention before. Now I'm professional. I am doing what I want, and I am earning money. Many long time ago, I only have $20 in my pocket, right? Or $100 in my pocket. I didn't have anything. When I was studying in Japan, I always eat rice. So because the more few money I have is to pay the lessons.
Yes.
Right? So that way I become very strict with myself. I say, okay, I have to do, and I have to sacrifice. And if you are doing this and you are serious and sacrificing, someday you will come back.
Yes. I think this period where things are harder is something that most people, or at least most artists, go through. Like many years struggling, but at the end, all the work is worth.
Yeah, it's worth it. Yeah, exactly.
So, I don't have anything else to ask.
Yeah, I think it was very interesting for me, and it's my pleasure to be here in your channel.
Yes.
I think your channel is very valuable. I found your channel, and it's very good. And I hope you will keep uploading a very interesting content, and to make people more motivated and intelligent.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I just consider that channel as a kind of library of resources. So, like, people can check whatever topic they are interested and get the information quickly, so they can later research by themselves.
Exactly. So, we can make that. There is not many channels like this. So I wish you all the best, and please keep the nice work.
Thank you. Well, I hope that we can collaborate in a stream someday when we know.
Yes, why not?
I think it will be very interesting because we are doing this conversation here, and of course later it will be edited and so. But doing this with people watching at the same time and asking questions, it can also be very, very.
Yeah. I was going to suggest this. I think you read my mind.
Yes.
I was going to suggest this. So I am very excited to do that. Even if we can set up a good microphone, I can show the sound in the best way, audio way, and we can be more interactive with the people if they are interested.
I think it can be very, very interesting for the people.
Yeah. So let's do it.
When this is uploaded, I want to ask anyway for the people who follow me in Twitch, what questions they will have. Maybe we can do a kind of second part with the questions people say. Also, if you share this with other people and people have more questions, we could discuss these questions in another time.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
So, do you have anything else to?
No, nothing more. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Here.
Thank you very much.
I see you next time. I see you, all of you, next time. Thank you. And
Thank
I
you
hope
very
you enjoyed this.
It has been very nice.
Thank you.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
day.
Bye.
See you.